chieftain of the All Progressives Congress APC is Honorable Wale Adefila. Thank you so much for joining us today on the stage.
Thank you, Mr. Sunday, and good evening, Nigerians.
Well, let me point out that anyone could join us via our social media platforms on Facebook, Osrc TV, as well as on YouTube and all other social media platforms. Once again, welcome also to the States.
Thank you once again.
You are a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress APC, and so I would like to start from that end, especially because the economic reforms of the present administration is being done under an administration spearheaded by your party, the APC. How convenient is it for the APC all along, especially as it's still saying that it wants the vote and confidence of the people in the next election cycle? Looking at these reforms on the economic front, are they really convenient for the people?
Absolutely, it can be very convenient for the people. If you understand economic reform, it might come with some hard decisions.
Yeah.
And of course, the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from May 2023, the first thing it did was removal of subsidy. And that subsidy removal ended, a regime of an oligarchy in the country. It ended a regime of absolute corruption. Because if you look at the oil sector, the power brokers of the oil sector have always, buckled in, much of huge amounts of money that are not real into the importation of, petroleum products into the country. And the first thing the president did was to stop and remove subsidy absolutely. That has enhanced revenue generation of the country maximally. And today, the huge amount of money that is generated from the revenue is being distributed, to different parts of the economy to stabilize the economy. And if you look at the electricity tariff as well, the electricity tariff, the subsidy was also removed in electricity. The tariff was changed. Normally in the country, people usually don't pay up to what they utilized. And this reform of the president has, enabled the power sector to be able to generate enough money. If you look at the different bands now, band A, they pay, I think the rate of band A is about 209 naira. Then band B is about 63. Then band C, 49, respectively up to band E. This has also increased revenue through the power sector. And if you look at other factors like foreign exchange, multiple exchange windows was collapsed into a single market system, and this has driven, a very fast-growing economy. And you give kudos to the president's, administration. You give kudos to his leadership. You give kudos to all the team player that has made it possible. Because it's showing clearly. If you look at the CBN, for instance, the automation of the FX, this has also, the foreign exchange, it has also improved transparency in the administration and in that sector. This has improved tremendously. And it's
if you're going to match your tongue a bit, let's look at a few things you've mentioned. You did say that the removal of first subsidy led to an end to large-scale corruption. And then I'm wondering, has that really put corruption at bay? Even in the petrol sector, would you say that indeed corruption is like a thing of the past in the petrol sector? And also in the larger economic scale, don't we still have corruption in the larger scale?
You can never eliminate corruption anywhere in the world, even in America. As powerful, as developed as they are, corruption exists everywhere. But how to minimize corruption is exactly
how well it's been minimized in Nigeria.
If you check at that today, there is products everywhere over Nigeria. Scarcity is no more. If you look at how much states earn in terms of federal government allocation, they have excess money through this regime now, that the president has disbursed to all governors to embark on massive and capital projects across the country. And some governors are utilizing this absolutely.
Some governors are utilizing it.
Of course.
It leads us to something again. If you look at it, many times, often and all you hear, it's Tinubu administration, or Tinubu is not doing well, Tinubu is doing this, Tinubu is doing that. The thing is, you do not often see people ask questions from their governors, their local government chairmen, their members of the Senate, representatives, and then the houses of assembly. Isn't it also a case of looking at it No matter where you are, should be held accountable.
Of course.
Are governors being really held accountable in Nigeria?
Just last week, you heard the president when he was, very emphatic about we Nigerians should hold our governors accountable. The governors are majorly the problem of the country. Look at how much every governor has earned today.
The governors are majorly the problem of
The
Nigeria.
subnationals generally. Okay. When you talk about states, local government, and the likes, some of them go there to just simply embezzle. While some are very focused on their campaign promises, development, infrastructure development in terms of everything, development in all areas of life. Look at the governor of Delta State, for instance. He's working. Look at the governor of Ondo State, Aiyedatiwa. He's working. You understand? He's been able to stabilize the state economically. And some other governors in the country.
How stable is the economy of Ondo State?
The economy of Ondo State is absolutely stable.
How?
Under this administration of amiable governor, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, it is stable. Because Governor Aiyedatiwa has taken some steps in the economy of the state. He's been able to get some money from the federal government that boosted his capital project. Look at the dualization of which of these roads? I think there's Akure Road. Yeah, that's a major relief to the people of that area, and this is an economic hub of the state. The amount of money that has been pumped into educational system, the education sector of the country. The man is focused towards development. If you look at his, political trajectories, he's focused towards development, and he has been able to assemble team of experts. Look at his commissioners, credible people. Look at, Dr. Osamaye in Women Affairs. She's doing even beyond, that ministry. Look at many of the commissioners. Look at the, engagement of youth, involvement of youth in his administration. Look at the commissioner for youth. So the governor is focused, and the governor is an unshakable human being. Sometimes the reason governors don't perform is as a result of an imposition of ideas. People impose ideas that are not sellable, ideas that cannot transform a state.
So Ondo, Delta,
Ondo is doing fine.
2 states.
There are so many other states. Look at Kebbi State, for instance. Look at Lagos State. Look at Kebbi State. I was in Oyo State recently. Irrespective of politics, political line, this cuts across all sections. The governor of Oyo State has also done well. The governor of, the FCT minister has also done well. States like Delta State, they are doing very well. But Ondo State particularly, Ondo is doing very fine under Aiyedatiwa.
Right,
it's not doing fine, there's going to be crisis in the state. So everywhere is peaceful, as you can see.
If he's not doing fine,
there would have been chaos, there would have been crisis. There would have been acrimony, discrepancies all over.
So we'll come back to the polity of Ondo State in the course of this conversation. But let's take a look at the economic reforms of the current administration under Bola Ahmed Tinubu. How well is this economy really favoring local content, local manufacturing? Because if you are not producing and then you are a consuming economy, to a large extent, my elementary knowledge of economic indices shows that such society will always be an economic quagmire. Isn't that what we are really facing? How well do we produce in Nigeria?
Well, the president has really, if you look at his tax reform, if you look at the president's tax reform, the tax reform has enabled foreign investors to come into the country, and the president has taken a faster and bolder step in terms of liaising with other countries that can that can have business deals with Nigeria, and this has improved our business activities and manufacturing companies' production capacity. Now, the president has also embarked on some capital projects in terms of infrastructure. Look at the construction of Calabar-Lagos Express. Look at the construction of Lagos-Sokoto, and the repair of refineries, the Port Harcourt refinery, the Warri refinery, active resuscitation of that decaying infrastructure is ongoing. The president has pumped in money to a lot of infrastructure development, and let's give kudos to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because the country was already in a very absolute disaster under the former administration. Give kudos to the president. A lot of
which of the administrations?
The administration of the former president, late President Muhammadu Buhari.
Does it go to say therefore that your party is not united in itself?
This is not about unity. This is not about unity. There is ideology. There is
The APC has ideology?
Of course, APC has ideology.
What is the ideology of the APC?
Transformation. Simply transformation. If you are very conversant with the activity of the party, from the emergence of the party, take the extraction of the party that is ACN, led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's internal ideology is transformation, development, transparency, accountability, and the man has proven this. Now that we formed a major, won a major election in 2015, from the background as the national leader of the party, he was able to resolve a lot of crises, and having no crisis will enable politicians, leaders to work effectively. Under the administration of the late president, a lot of things went wrong, and you cannot put the blame on the party because that was just an individual problem. The man at the end of an affair matters a lot.
Does it go to say that the party supremacy did not play out during the last administration? Are you saying the APC does not reign supreme in its own affairs?
Like I said, individual in the end of affair matters a lot.
Okay.
Look at Ondo State, for instance, today. You can't attribute any blame to the party. You will simply attribute blames to the governor of the state if it's not doing fine. And we, the Ondo State people, are saying our governor is doing fine because the governor has been able to assemble a team of commissioners, special advisors that could bring about a blueprint that will lead the state to that transformation that we envisage. And we are seeing the transformation already in different sectors. And that as well, at the national level, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the man at the end of an affair. He's doing fine and he's been able to put together that team of experts that has brought about a positive transformation in different areas and different sectors of the economy.
If there should be an election today, Mr. Defila, and then your party, the opposition Congress APC, comes forward to the people of Nigeria, do you think your party is acceptable to them?
This is funny. Well, absolutely. APC is going to win an election. If there is an election in Nigeria today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will win massively. When I mean massively, let's be very analytical now. APC controls about 23 states today. Those 23 states, they are not just going to vote. The governors are not going to convince the people of their state to vote for the president based on the fact that they are just members of the APC. They will convince their state people to vote for the president based on the performance of the president. And what are those things? The president has been able to bring about, high revenue generation, and the man did not hoard the money at the federal level. He released money to states to do capital projects. He even warned the governors, Mr. Governors, keep working. So excess money is available with our governors. Now, these governors knows how to, if they utilize the money very well, and some of them are utilizing it very well. So I can tell you, if we are talking politics today, how we are going to win an election, Bola Ahmed Tinubu already has 23 states in the bag. Then look at other states that are benefiting, that does not even care. So you feel about political party, like the governor of Anambra State, absolutely.
In those states will make it an easy ride.
Automatic. It's going to be tough, absolutely, because of the emergence of coalition, opposition. But the advantage we have as as a ruling party is the fact that there is division, and these people are in a very high state of obscurity.
How
they don't even know what they're doing.
How healthy is the consideration of the situation that your party is a ruling party as against acceptability by the people?
Of course, the people accept APC. They are aware the president has taken positive steps in the right direction. Look at the economic, look at the security situation of the country. There is an improvement. And look at the appointment of the president. The appointment is across board. Look at the chief of defense staff, for instance, Southern Kaduna person. Of course, we are aware that over the years, these people have been marginalized. Now, he was able to pinpoint that particular gallant officer, and he made him the chief of defense staff. And the man has been able to subside, absolutely reduce drastically the activities of banditries, the Boko Harams, and general kidnapping by herdsmen and others, across the country. And look at other areas as well. Politically, the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to identify areas that they are not doing fine, and they've made amendments So with all indications, the president is definitely going to win an election. But of course, I do not support the idea that this is 2025 and we started campaign already, ahead of 2027. But if you look at what the opposition did, they made it, a challenge to the ruling party that they are going to defeat the ruling party comes 2027. And the president, of course, understands that he has to do better, he has to improve in some areas. So he started improving. Look at the social welfare, the amount of money that is released, to people. Look at the students' loan. Students can easily access loan all over the country as it stands today. This will help indigent students to improve in their education. It will enhance the educational system. The academics will be happy because the money is injected into education, is injected into other areas of infrastructure. And once we are able to breed, students that have healthy life in the universities, in the higher institutions, the aftermath will be positivity in the nation in terms of giving back to the society the knowledge they have acquired.
Yeah, your point is well made, but then, as somebody who perhaps will not agree with you, that's Bolaji Abdullahi, the spokesperson of the African Democratic Congress, ADC. They adopted home of the coalition of opposition parties as it stands today. In his own view, he feels that the coalition will indeed dislodge, so to say, the All Progressives Congress.
Bolaji Abdullahi, spokesperson of the ADC.
And he has cited many things, including economic woes in many spheres. He has cited insecurity.
Let us understand that
it's not party duty of the ADC.
Never.
Coalition.
I just gave you, an analysis that we have 23 states in the bag. Take 23 out of 36.
Is that what politics is all about?
It is not what politics is all about. There are other indices. There are other analytical views that you can look at. The Bolaji Abdullahi you talked about. Okay, let's look at the character the party is made up of. The ADC that you talked about now. Because these people that, converge together, they are frustrated set of people.
Let's use
okay, let's not use such words. But look at the characters that are in the ADC. Look at those people. Those are people whose grievance have not been resolved, whose anger with the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has not been resolved as a result of them not being considered, perhaps either for an appointment or whatever they are going to gain from the administration. So they have to now form a merger. And forming a merger, the simple rule of our opposition is to discredit the ruling party, even when you can see clearly that there is an economic change positively. Look at Okonjo-Iweala recently. She visited Nigeria. If the a caliber of Okonjo-Iweala can tell you that Nigeria is doing fine, that means the president is taking right step in the right direction. Okay, for instance, look at our GDP today. From 3.4%, our GDP has increased in 2004 from 3.4% to 3.84% in the first quarter of this year. And the target of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is to have a 7% increment in our GDP come 2027.
How well does this figure, or how well do these figures, Peter once said that the poverty in Nigeria is not beyond statistics. Well, then, you have read out a particular statistic now. So
does that poverty exclude Anambra State where he once ruled?
How well do these
opposition simply
impact on the lives of the ordinary Nigerian?
Okay, the only challenge is that there is inflation, and inflation is gradually dropping. Look at cost of things are gradually dropping. Of course, we are aware that immediately the subsidy was removed in 2023, the prices of commodity skyrocketed. But today, those prices are dropping gradually. And I can tell you without mincing words that today we are more stable than before. Everybody is a little bit calm internally when we talk about how well it goes with the ordinary people in the streets. The pressure has reduced, and the president gave this warning before he embarked or before he implemented those economic policies. He told us that we're going to face some hardship. It will not last for so long, but it will last for a short while. As it stands today, those things are really reducing.
If you are to assess the role,
are improving, as you can see.
If you are to assess the role of the legislature in this whole matter, lawmaking is a primary
extremely
role of the legislature.
I agree with you.
Laws that would make life better for the people.
Absolutely.
Do you think the legislature has done well in this regard, especially are they nationally?
This is the best assembly so far. This is the best assembly so far.
The best assembly so far?
Yes, of course. I will break it down to you. You know, a lot of people have misconception about the legislature. They do not understand that their role is not to be at loggerhead with the executive. These people are simply to make laws and to supervise the executives. Understanding their roles in this administration, a lot of bills that has improved the country, the leadership of this administration has been made. The bills have been passed by the National Assembly, and if you look at how effective most of those senators are, most of those House of Representatives members, they are very effective in their jobs. They don't take anything for granted. And if you look at how critical they did the scrutinization of political appointees, they even stepped down a lot of them. And before you pass through the National Assembly for an appointment confirmation, they did their due diligence of scrutinizing individual, perusing their individual characters, understanding their professional capability on how they will discharge their duties. Then the lawmakers have as well passed bills that has improved the nation. Look at the local government autonomy that was granted. That bill was passed and the president assented to it. Today, local governments are receiving money directly from the federal government. Most of them, their money is still tied to states. But the condition is that every local government every state must conduct a local government election. This made it very difficult for state governors to just appoint individuals and continue to rule in an oligarchy manner. That means there must be, through democratic rulership across board, from federal to state to local government. Every local government in Nigeria, every state today that did not conduct a local government election do not receive allocation from the federal government to the local government. So they are very critical. If you look at all of them, they rushed immediately to start conducting local government election. And yesterday I visited, my local government chamber at the federal rep. Fantastically, they are doing very well. In short, I visited the leader of the house. They have their parliament within the local government, and they are coordinatively, executing their roles as legislators. And they have the power, if they have the power to impeach any local government chairman that is not doing fine or that has any case of misappropriation or that mismanages the fund of the local government.
This is the best legislature we've ever had, in your words.
In my own opinion.
At the national.
In my own opinion.
Can the same be said with what obtains in many states? How about in Ondo State?
The federal is in Ondo State, and I just give you an example.
That's local government level. I'm talking about the state level.
State level as regards
the Ondo State House of Assembly.
Okay, Ondo State House of Assembly is doing fine. Ondo State House of Assembly is doing fine. You don't need to hear crisis between the different arms of government, because a lot of people are expecting that, the legislatures are supposed to be fighting the governor. There is synergy in Ondo State. There is synergy, there is coherentness between the parliament and the executive. That is why you are not hearing any noise, and that is why the governor is able to rule fine. If there is no, agreement, if there is no synergy, there is going to be crisis. So
one of the things that we keep looking at, especially at the media front, is our mode of leadership recruitment in Nigeria. Is it really thorough enough to be able to engender good governance? Do you think the way and manner we recruit, for instance, legislators at the state level, local government level, national level, do you think our mode of recruiting leaders isn't faulty?
It's faulty. Absolutely.
What is the fault?
Absolutely faulty. To me, the role of the parliamentarians are not supposed to be, parliament is not supposed to be a full-time job.
Yeah.
It is never supposed to be a full-time job. And the amount of money that is injected into the National Assembly, it's absolutely alarming. And that is one of the reasons the country is drowning, gradually. But I understand that under this administration, the president has been able to, put a balance into a lot of things. And the National Assembly are doing their due, they are performing their duty as it ought to. So their recruitment process, as for me, I would suggest a part-time based legislative practices, if we can be able to do that.
You are a politician.
Of course I am.
Do you think, in your heart of hearts, you agree with your own proposition? I saw in the news just yesterday, you are also throwing your heart in the ring to want to go into House of Assembly. If it is part-time, do you think you will still consider that?
I would love to make it a part-time stuff. Whatever I want to contribute to the National Assembly or to my state in terms of lawmaking does not require a full-time activity. It doesn't. And the state can as well, or if we can adopt the practice nationwide to reduce the cost of money that is injected into the National Assembly, into the Parliament, I will subscribe to that idea and I will still go there and serve. Because the reason I offer myself to serve is because I believe there are a lot of things I can do to better the state, to develop Ondo State, and to better the lives of our people. And I'm not going there to go and amass wealth for myself. I'm doing fine in my job, and I'm not, I'm not a greedy person, and I'm not after wealth. I don't want to be very rich like Elizabeth. I don't want to be very rich like Dangote. I just want to make positive contributions.
How do we juxtapose your assertion with the assertion of the rampant boss, Revenue Allocation Mobilization Commission, talking about, according to him, that political office holders, their pay isn't realistic anymore. According to him, that the current economic climate and responsibilities on soldiers of these political office holders make what they earn currently unrealistic. Now you're saying that so much money we are injecting into all these things. How do we juxtapose these two positions?
The earnings of politicians are not even the issue. It is the corruption in the system. How much is their salary? But if you look at means,
earnings,
it's never the
problem. The problem, but the corruption in the system.
The corruption in the system.
Why are you did say that corruption has also been abated somehow in the system? So then, we are here now. You're talking about the corruption.
Anti-corrupt agencies are doing fine under this administration. You can see a lot of activities of the EFCC. You can see the unbundling of multiple tax system into a single reform, and this has really helped to reduce corruption. When that window is not there for corrupt practices, it will enable the agencies to function appropriately. To give it to this administration, they have been able to curb corruption or reduce corruption drastically.
So, what is the problem with the corruption in the system that you're talking about? You are trying to make a point that the earnings of the politicians, like I said in the beginning, corruption is something you can never eliminate all over the world. I am only disagreeing with that proposition or with that assertion that the earnings of the politicians are the major problem. If you look at their salaries are not huge. Actually, that salary is not the problem. It is the means and method through which some of these people are embezzling money. Take, for instance, some subnationals, some states. The president has been able to inject, excess into different states in Nigeria. Some of them have gotten up to 50 billion, 65 billion. Look at that huge amount of money, different from the state allocation. But they are not doing, some of them are not doing anything, absolutely in their state. Look at the deplorable states, of road in some parts of Nigeria. Because I travel by road a lot. I travel by road a lot. And sometimes I drive myself. So the roads are in bad condition. But most of the federal roads are undergoing drastic, rehabilitation under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But I also very many federal roads that are also coming up. You agree with me?
Of course.
Just a couple weeks ago, thereabouts, the federal roads in the states came under spotlight. Many rules and cries generated therefrom. So then, isn't that also a burden on the current federal government?
The federal government has taken a step, in addressing that issue. And I can tell you, the Minister for Works, Jay Bumai, has really taken a step on that issue. Although I do not have total information or the details of that intervention. Okay. But I can tell you they've already taken a decision on that.
All right. Before we come to the last part of our conversation on this show, I'd like to clear something. It seems this administration is diverting attention from the bitumen, asphalt method of road construction to concrete, cement.
It is the best.
Really?
It is the best because if you see the diameter of the piling of the road, if you see the reinforcement, that is something that would last for years. Because there are a lot of heavy duties plying these roads. If you look at bitumen construction method of road, it's a little bit, it's not really solid. That's the piling method, which is this casting. The casting is thick, the casting is strong, and it will take a longer year before it gets damaged. and sometimes it might even take up to 20, 30, 50 years. So they are doing a very good job in that regard.
Let's come to Ondo State polity. I'm sure that that's would interest many people.
Of course.
What is the state of health of the All Progressives Congress APC in Ondo State?
APC is ruling in Ondo State totally. I can tell you, the only state in Nigeria that has no presence of opposition is Ondo State.
I don't understand.
I just told you that APC is doing very fine in Ondo State under the leadership of our able governor, and there is no presence of opposition in Ondo State. I am not encouraging a single party system, but when there is, an excellent person as a governor, then his presence alone can collapse opposition. Look at his emergence method. Or it was difficult for anybody to oppose Aiyedatiwa because of his character, because of his personality, because of the strategic way he played.
I'm interested in knowing what you mean by there is no presence of opposition in Ondo State. Because I do understand that it's a People's Democratic Party. I do understand that there is a PRP. I also understand there is SDP.
Mr. Sunday,
many other
can you call names of leaders?
What then do you mean by there is no presence of opposition?
Please, can you call the names of leaders in opposition?
Is it the name of leaders that make
of course,
the political party or the name of the party?
Okay, there is SDP, there is PDP, there is this, that. Can you call the names of their leaders?
I'm not a politician.
There are over 30-something parties in Nigeria. It is the leader of a party that brings about the popularity of that party. When a party bears a name and has no individual to flag that party is not existing. So as it stands today in Ondo State, you can't even call two names of prominent people that are found in the PDP, because I'm aware that there is no ADC in existence as far as Ondo State is concerned. Labour Party is not in existence in Ondo State. So the only party in Ondo State is the APC. Our luck and our appreciation is the fact that we have a governor that listens. We have a governor that selects people into governance or gives people appointment on the basis of merits, not on favoritism. We have a governor who is not controlled by anybody, a governor who takes his own decision, a governor that has no godfather. So he is focused on appointing the best people to position, and those people are doing fine. But remember, this is just an administration that is barely 5 months, if I'm not mistaken. So we have a long way to go, and the governor will still do far, far better, because everything is improving every day. But as for opposition or as for other parties in the state, I don't even see them.
Well, you are entitled to your opinion, I must say. This is reality. This is your opinion.
You are a journalist, of course. You can go and do your research. You can do your research. You are a journalist.
I do not have a subjective opinion. I am just asking you a question, and then that's my job.
A journalist is also a citizen.
Your job
go
is to answer the question. You have made an assertion. You are entitled to your opinion. Of course, you have heard your opinion, and that's what we are known for. Every angle to issues.
Sure. But I can tell you, do your research. There is no opposition.
To what extent do you think the Aiyedatiwa administration still has the confidence of the people, especially looking at complaints in certain quarters? Some are talking about they are here to be touched by this project, they're here to be touched by that other project. Do you still think the Aiyedatiwa administration is the darling of the people?
Yes, it is. Go and check.
Even in the face of those
go and check the governor's blueprint. Go and check his campaign agendas. Go and check his plans. He is taking those things one after the other. The other time I was on this studio, we talked about the amount of money injected into Rugipo. We talked about how much money the governor injected into University of Medical Sciences in this state. Now look at roads construction, infrastructure development, the road between Akure to Idan regionalization. So the governor is doing fine in all areas, even in political areas. He's doing fine because there's no crisis in the state. All leaders of the state are with the governor. The likes of our senator, distinguished Senator Jimo Ibrahim, Ulushola Oke, Jai Borofis, Engineer Ife Oyedele, all the leaders of the state are with the governor. If the governor was not doing fine, these people would have given him problem. But you can't see any problem as far as the state is concerned. So Aiyedatiwa is in the right direction. Aiyedatiwa is doing fine. And as a follower of Aiyedatiwa, as an ardent supporter, a loyalist to the governor, I will always support the governor.
Your party is a ruling party, and so there are so many issues that are also cropping up. Some are of the view that your party is not united, especially in the build up to the next general election.
We're united at the state level, at the national level.
Even at the state, we are talking about Ondo State politics now.
Ondo State is
just a moment.
Ondo State APC is a family.
Just a moment.
All right.
The view of some is that the unity of your party in Ondo State is shaking, and the view of the multiple support groups, and then the need, the attempt to streamline those groups. Some people feel that there is a split in your party as far as that is concerned.
There is no split in the party. I'm a member of the party. I'm an active member of the party. Just within 3 days, I came to Ondo State. Within 3 days, I was able to sit with the chief of staff to the governor, had a discussion with him. Within these 3 days, I've been able to sit to the chairman of the party and had a discussion with him. And I met a lot of leaders with the national chairman of the party. The chairman of the party is doing fantastically well, you know. Then at my local government level, just within 2 days, I was able to, you know, assemble all the leaders of my local government. Yesterday, you can see your station was there. You know, they all gathered and we discussed, you know, issues, way forward to the development of the Ondo State, and we looked at legislative, you know, opportunities, and some of us offered ourselves. So, if there was division, how possible will it be that I was able to assemble all the leaders? How possible will it be that I was able to assess all the leaders? And in getting there, I didn't see anywhere people are fighting. I didn't see anywhere the party is in acrimony. The party chairman speaks to the governor. They talk on daily basis. All the leaders of the party are talking on daily basis. All the commissioner can access all the leaders of the party at their various wards, at the various local governments, and at the state level. So when you say there is crisis in the party, I don't understand what you're talking about.
I didn't say. I'm telling you what the view.
Okay, you're talking about division. Who owns those views?
Yeah, of course, we are journalists. We hear many things, and we bring such things to the fore conversation.
If we can be very specific, can we put on ratio base the number of people that are complaining? Are they politicians or ordinary citizens of Ondo State? The answer is no. Politicians will always have division. There will always be crisis. But does the division break down the party? Does it break down leadership? Does it break down peace and order? The answer is when these things are done.
In other words, you're saying yes, there are issues, but those issues are not.
I am not aware of any issue. I am not aware of any issue. There can be, but I'm not aware. I am not aware of any issue. With all sincerity.
Now let's talk about your visit to your local government. You said in the last 2 or 3 days you've been consulting and looking at, and I'm wondering. You said you have a good job. You said you are well engaged. So what exactly are you looking for?
I am simply looking for an opportunity to serve. I am simply looking for an opportunity where Ondo State can be put on the map of the entire country, where Ondo State can be well recognized.
Are your people not well represented correctly?
The representation is the representation you talk about. It varies. If you look at it from one angle, yes, in terms of representation, we have a representative. But we are looking at effective representation. We are looking at a more standard representation. We are looking at an intellectual representation, a representation that will bring meaning, that will bring, you know, absolute radical development to the state. The federal should be that pointer amongst local governments in Ondo State that should be at the forefront, leading intellectually through legislative practices. And that's why I offered myself. So I am telling you that whatever these people there are doing now, I am not here to criticize them. I am simply saying that I can do it better.
Availability, transparency, and accountability.
Absolutely,
Very important.
I agree with those
in all
things.
Do you think you will be able to provide all of these?
Let me tell you, Sunday, I built my house in Ilara and I stayed there. I came to this studio accompanied by, you know, versatile, notable followers from the same Ilara and across the local government. From the three zones of Federal, I came with followers that are from there. Anytime I come home, I stay within the local government. That shows I am going to be available to the people at all times. And in terms of transparency, I will be transparent to the people if opportunity is given to serve at any time. Because transparency is also a very important, you know, factor in leadership. and I will always consult with the people to know their plight and to attend to
How
their
well
needs.
are these three things really playing out in the Nigerian legislative governance?
Well, I do not agree with most of the legislators at the federal level. I do not agree with them. They don't even know what they're doing. Absolutely. Some of them, some are doing fine, some are not doing fine. If you look at the amount of money that is injected to their various, offices as quarterly, what's it called? Allowances and others, they are not utilizing it properly. They are supposed to be, liaising with agencies who down investors into their various their various constituencies to do projects there, to do investments there. But they are simply after their constituency allowance. And the constituency allowance, most of them cannot even account for it. So they are not transparent to the people. But I believe if opportunity is given to serve at any time, these should be my keywords: accountability, transparency, and reaching out to my people to know their plight and to exactly do what they require.
In the next few minutes, let's quickly look at what we feel could still be done to improve Nigerians, the lives of Nigerians, and especially to also promote good governance. What are the loopholes you think still need to be plugged in promoting good governance, whether at the local level or the national level?
Well, I would have loved a situation where we practice true federalism. If true federalism is practiced, every state will manage their resources. Look at Ondo State, for instance. This is one of the most blessed states in Nigeria. Ondo State has bitumen, Ondo State has limestone, Ondo State has agriculture, we have cocoa, we have everything to stand on our own. So if we are able to, if it were that the country was practicing through federalism, our state will be autonomous. Our state will, utilize whatever they are getting within the state. It's not everything that will go to the federal. So today we depend on the federal for resources of our own. When our resources are exploited, it goes to the federal. We now sit back and wait for the federal government to give us a portion of our own resources. Look at Delta State, for instance, blessed in all areas. Look at the amount of resources in Delta State. Now, if it were that we are able to streamline development into subnationals, it would have been better. It would have improved the life of the health of the Nigerian politics better.
All right, so true federalism is what you proposing. I think that's a very important proposition in that regard. Mr. Adifila is a grassroots politician, an advocate of youth development. Of course, he's a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress (APC). Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Sunday. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone, this is where we're saying thank you to you for being a part of this conversation. It's been an engaging engagement. And of course, like I did say, everyone has the right to their opinion. We will not gag anyone. And of course, we remain unbiased in everything we do on this channel. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of it. I remain Sunday Kolawole. Thank you to the rest of the evening.